Hello everyone, and thank you so much for hanging around during our brief technical break. I hope you all had a lovely stretch and have been hydrating. Don't want anybody to dehydrate. Hydration is important. We are just about ready to start our one and only Stonefly run with RoadkillRevenge and Ozmourn on commentary. I hope everyone is ready for an incredible run. Y'all, take it away!
Hey everybody! Welcome to the Ladies Arcaders Super Showcase. I am RoadkillRevenge, my pronouns are she, her, and I am joined by my lovely commentator.
Hello, my name is Ozmourn. I also run this game. I am one of two people. The other one is the one you're going to see run right now. I hope you all enjoy your time.
Yeah, this is a really fun run. So this is Stonefly, an indie game that came out just a couple of years ago from Flight School Studio. It's a wonderful game that I really recommend you check out. Casually and it's also a really fun speedrun. And yeah, I guess I'm going to go ahead and get going so we can get started explaining the run. The timer is going to start as soon as I input on the first save slot here in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so thank you so much. We jump right into some cutscenes to skip here and a really nice chill intro. In this game, we play as this girl, Annika, or Annika, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I think Oz and I both pronounce it. Yeah, we both do it different ways each time, or at least I do. And she is essentially the daughter of this really successful mechanic, and we are essentially in the world of Stonefly, very, very small people in a world with very large bugs. And so we get around in the world using these big mechs called rigs that we will be spending most of our time flying around in. So right now I'm just going through this intro tutorial and learning about the world and skipping a whole bunch of important lore. But essentially what we're doing is we are sneaking out in the middle of the night to go on a joyride with our dad's mech, in short. And this is what the majority of the gameplay looks like. As you can see, this is a little bit of an interesting and maybe strange platformer, because we're going to spend most of our time flying in the air, and occasionally setting down on the ground to jump and gain more height for gliding, and then also to gather minerals. This game has a whole lot of resource management in it. I have a spreadsheet on my other monitor that shows me what things I need and when. The camera.
Have it open too.
Yeah, I actually just today made some new adjustments to the spreadsheet, so hopefully it's still accurate. That remains to be seen. And now we get our first little combat encounter. Oz, while I'm doing this, do you want to tell them a little bit about how the combat works in this game?
Yeah, so these are what we call encounters. Thankfully, in this game, we found ways to skip most of them, but there are some mandatory ones. Technically, you can skip this one, but this is like a one that we've kind of put into the route. So what you're going to see Roadkill do here is that she's going to be attacking these enemies from up top, hitting the X button in order to attack them.
With not these grouping up for me today.
Yeah, little spikes that come out of here. And so our enemy RNG is kind of a really important thing about this game, so we want the enemies to be grouped up, and unfortunately they're not cooperating with us today. And one important thing as well is that you only have to defeat any of the enemies that are considered hostile in an encounter. The definition of a hostile enemy kind of changes frequently throughout the game. There really isn't a consistent rule. But those tiny little bugs that we saw, the really, really small ones that we were first encountering, we will never have to fight one of those ever again. And then we got introduced to the popcorn bugs, so we saw those enemies will go out of their way to attack us if we are with them. And so that's kind of just an example of what hostile means in this case, and we're going to see a different example of that in the final encounter of this area.
And interesting, this is actually one of the only areas in the game that has consistent amounts of minerals in it. The most RNG in this game is based on like what mineral deposits are on the ground. So like right here we're only seeing one type of mineral, which is Limadot. And yeah, essentially we're aiming for 3,400 Limadot by the end of this area, which is definitely the most consistent consistent part of the game in terms of minerals. There's a lot of RNG in this game, but it's really manageable because of like the large quantities we're working with, and my cycle here is way weird. Oh no, that's fine. But yeah, so we have certain numbers of different minerals that we need, and there's a whole bunch of different minerals, so it can get a little bit hectic trying to figure out where we're ahead, where we're behind. And yeah, so this is the last little encounter of the tutorial here. Again, some RNG with where the where the enemies end up dropping. This wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one over
Not
here.
too
though.
bad. Like the best RNG that you want in this case is like I have had it where all 6 of the enemies will stand on the same side of the leaf.
Yeah, that's really rare, but it's really nice when it happens. That wasn't too bad though. So yeah, I'm just gonna be scooping up all these minerals. And you might notice that there's still some little bugs around, like Oz was saying. Not all enemies are hostile, but they do actually take minerals over time. I guess they're eating them. And
Yeah,
so...
I don't know what the nutritional value of Limadot is.
I don't know. I don't know. Limadot, maybe it's got vitamin C or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I keep reaching my hand up to split. That's funny. Some more cutscenes to skip here. So basically, Annika, in her rush to get some last-minute minerals that she forgot to get from the store, accidentally left the shed unlocked overnight when she parked it back at home, and so it got stolen. And so now we get to embark on a journey of recovering our dad's precious life's work, his mech. And yeah, I actually really love this section of the game, even though it's a little bit annoying. This is a grasshopper that Oz has lovingly dubbed Kevin. And
yes,
Kevin, he does not like to go in a straight line.
He doesn't.
But we try our best, and you know what, Kevin, I don't really either. It's fine. Thanks, Kevin. He got us where we're going. And unfortunately, this little segment right here, at the end of this this very precarious branch, is the last time we ever get to see our friend Kevin. So all right, chat, say bye to Kevin. He did a great job for us.
Yeah, he's not dead. We just never see him again.
No.
Like he just leaves.
He's like, you know what? Nah. I'm not about these. Bye, Kevin. Yeah.
You'll be missed.
We'll never forget you.
Also, I love in the notes because you say you have hippity hoppity, the grasshopper has velocity. I still remember that.
It's a very important note. I got pretty bad RNG here too. The enemies were very spread apart.
But we get introduced to new ones here called, it's the boombugs? I keep saying they're the boombugs, but I don't think that's their actual name.
I think.
Boomlings. Okay, the boomlings.
Yeah.
But you can see that Roadkill here is actually using the wind, the gust ability or the blow ability to open up the wings of these boomlings that you can, because you can only take damage, give damage to them when their wings are open. And you can actually see that she is not collecting any of the minerals here because it does not matter. You will always end this fight with a set amount of minerals. But now we get introduced to our main posse, our main gang of the rest of the story.
Yeah, so this here is the Acorn Corps. They are essentially just a squad of task doers, I guess, that travel across the land, and we ran into them and we're just like, hey, have you seen this guy that stole this mech? And they're just like, get out of here, kid. But we end up rescuing them in that little encounter back there, and so in exchange they give us some minerals and let us have this old scrap mech, which is going to be the mech that we end up upgrading over the course of the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting on an unskippable cutscene here.
Yeah. The next quick. We're gonna get the jump design and the brake design. The jump design, of course, allows us to jump, which is inherently useful. But the brake design, I forget what it does. I've never used it.
I think the brake design is actually the like attack, the shoot down attack. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Really? Okay.
Because by default the mech is like busted and doesn't have that stuff it's supposed to have.
There's going to be a few upgrades you're going to see us get that we actually don't need in the speedrun, but we do need to progress in the game. But but I know there's a few of those that Roadkill uses anyway because she's better at this game than I am, which is probably the reason why she has a world record and I don't.
I don't know about that. Yeah, there's a lot of really different ways you can route this game based on your preference and based on like what safety stuff you want to get or not. So yeah, but essentially we're in our first sort of open world segment of the game, and we got a bunch more scissor scarabs here, which were at least nicely grouped up for us. So at the end of this segment, I'm going to be aiming for 2,000 Lauronite and 150 Dalium, which I hope is correct because I did not check my notes. I'm just going off vibes.
I'm checking it now. It is correct.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so we actually got pretty good RNG. We're way ahead on Lauronite, but not too much Dalium, but that is super okay. Of all of the different minerals, Dalium is the one that is probably the most okay to be behind on, because most of the route of Dalium is optional upgrades. Can I jump up here, please? Thank you. And it's also really easy to back up if you get behind and you don't get any randomly dropped. So those two places I stopped just now, like the amount of minerals that was there was random. Sometimes they will have none. Sometimes they'll have 4 times as much as I need. And you'll have to either back them up later or try to find them elsewhere. But we had pretty good luck there.
You had pretty good enemy RNG there too.
Yeah, for once so far in this run.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're obviously, because your attack is like a little thing that shoots down under your mech, the best thing is to have them grouped up so that they can be hit at once. So we essentially are following the lead on this thief to a shoemaker because the guy left footprints, and so we're trying to figure out where he went based on what shoes he has. And while we're doing this unskippable cutscene, I'm just flying around and discovering a location that we're going to use to fast travel to later, and also just looking for some extra minerals while I have the time.
Yeah, and we got introduced to another enemy there, the long snout bugs that will like shoot projectiles at you out of their snouts. But overall, like the thing that I don't like the most about Dalium is just how slow they collect them and how small of groups they come in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it gives me like the illusion that you're not collecting that much when you are. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. So all the different minerals have different vibes. Like some of them you'll just scoop them up really fast. Some of them, yeah, have very slow, smaller quantities. So I'm gonna do something here that I just started doing literally today. So this will be fun. So this is a forced encounter, which is you can tell by the red around the arena, but I'm actually going to go outside the arena, get this checkpoint, and then reload, and then skip that one. So normally those you cannot move outside the arena until you defeat all of the required enemies, but using some checkpointing you can get around it. So I actually didn't mean to get that damage boost, but I decided to take advantage of it rather than try and get all the minerals there. Because at the end of this area, we want 8,000 Lauronite and 500 Dalium. And again,
that is correct.
I'm getting way better at like not having to look at my notes, which is really...
I used to not have to look at notes, but then I like stopped running it for a bit, and now I have to do it again.
That's probably the hardest, the biggest learning curve thing, is just remembering what you need versus having to stop and look. So I went a weird way there. Yeah. Essentially what I was doing was I was getting around an invisible trigger that would have started another one of those forced encounters. And yeah, Oz does that one a little bit differently than me, but...
Yeah, so what I do is there's a checkpoint there, and I do the same thing that Roadkill just did at the first encounter, where I grab the checkpoint and restart level. I'm pretty sure that if you do it optimally, Roadkill's version is objectively faster, but it's like the least consistent for me. I just can't get it.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, it just works. It's weird how speedruns are like that, where like some tricks just work for some people and not others. So this is probably, in my opinion, the most annoying encounter that we have to do in the game. And we can skip it, but there's just so many resources here. Ooh. They're all grouped up, which is nice, but you're being mean to me.
In a lot of resources also comes the most annoying enemy in the game, but with amazing RNG, my goodness.
That was so good. Yeah, so as you can see, these guys are annoying, but you can bait them to falling off the arena, but yeah, they get hung up sometimes. That was almost perfect. Engine grubs, those guys are called, I believe. Grubs, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to scoop up some of these minerals. I think Oz, you also do this a little bit differently than me. Essentially, I'm going to get some of this stuff and then come back for it later. I'm actually a little bit low in general, so I'm going to get more than I normally would, just to be a little bit safe.
So what I do in that section is like I grab all of the Lauranites, and then I leave, but I do not expose the Dalium, and I don't expose the Dalium until I come back after the cutscene, because otherwise all of the bugs on the floor are going to eat all the minerals by the time I come back.
Yeah, because even when you're off screen, the bugs, the sort of friendly bugs, will eat minerals, but they also will despawn after a minute, so I usually will just get some of them and then come back and get whatever they leave behind. Now this is a secret little Piotite deposit that the developers, shout out to them, told us about. We did not know that was there. And Piotite is a mineral that we're going to see in the very end of the run, and we need 800 of it. So getting ahead on Piotite is really nice, and will make it safer towards the end.
I think you can theoretically enter the last alpha with at least 100 Piotite. Like, at least.
Yeah, one of my practices, I had like a ridiculous amount, just based on RNG, yeah. So I'm probably going to be behind on Dalium, but that's okay.
Now we're talking with the shoemaker, and they did give us a lead on where the person who stole our father's mech is. But now we're at alphas.
Yes,
This is the next burger.
I am going to buy a pressure mold, 3 neutron epoxies, a hardened crystal, and sell all my items. These are just...
Conical.
Yeah, I got really lucky on my dropped items there. What am I doing? I need to buy dash. Dash.
Yeah, you're right.
Mining speed. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now we have a new ability called Dash, which, as you imagine, is a nice little dash. And we're going to be using this a lot, because
That's what it's called.
it's fast, yeah. Thank you, I know what dash does, game.
Yes, the game gives us annoying like pop-ups every time we get a new ability, and sometimes they repeat themselves based on certain things that we might get into later.
Yeah, hopefully we avoid that, but yeah, you can accidentally trigger them like multiple times. I'm gonna scoop up like as much of this as I can, because I got lucky and the enemies that spawned here were extremely harmless, I say, as danger shows up. But that stump right there is sort of just a backup. It's super optional, but it's nice to just sort of grab some on the way. It's very unpredictable with what is there and what enemies spawn, so it's usually just... I usually stay there as little as possible.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't spend too much time there either.
Alright, so we're essentially heading to the snowy mountain now, because the shoemaker told us that that is where the thief probably went, based on the type of shoes he had. It seems like a shot in the dark to me, but where else are we gonna go, right? But unfortunately, our mech is not meant for snowy weather.
For some reason you can skip this cutscene, I don't know why.
Yeah, that's one of the few of that style of cutscene that you can actually skip.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is I'm actually just going to be quitting and loading back to re-roll this. This is what is called an alpha aphid track.
Only 46.
Yeah, that was not great. I've been having bad luck with these lately. So we essentially need to find what is called an alpha aphid to be able to get a new type of mineral we haven't seen before, so we can make like cold protection. So I'm going to focus a little bit during this, so Oz, if you could take over. And also at the end of this is when we are going to be finalizing the colors of the mech, so get your last minute donations in.
Alright. So essentially, what the alpha aphids are, I just call them alphas. I feel like the aphid is a bit redundant in my mouth, and so I just call them alphas. And so they're like incredibly large beetle-like bugs that have a lot of minerals on them, but they also have a lot of enemies on them that try to eat the minerals. And so this first alpha that we have here is just like the standard alpha that has lauranite, dalium, and a new mineral called dinatite. For each of them, we want, according to the notes, 2,000 dinatite, 600 dalium, and exactly 13,334 lauranite, a very specific number.
Yes.
And we're going to use all of these for upgrades later, but the main thing you have to worry about here is the wind that tries to blow you off of the wings, but also the enemies that are going to try to attack you. If Roadkill can manage to like get all of the minerals that she needs before like the timer runs out, she can theoretically die on the alpha and have it be faster than letting the encounter fix. And literally all she needs now is like Lauronite, and that is it.
I need a
and
ton of Lauronite though, so I'm a little worried because.
But thankfully, Lauronite is like really quick to mine.
It's it's not too bad. Yes,
yeah,
4,000 Lauronite is like less worrisome than like 100 Dalium, honestly, with how quick. But I'm not seeing much on the mix or on the aphid. Because the minerals that spawn here and where they spawn are pretty random. So sometimes they'll just be like none. So I think, maybe if I didn't fall off.
Sometimes there's a glitch where you get blown off while you're mining Dalium and where you're mining the mineral.
Are you serious? Why did it put me back there? Well, I'm probably not. I'm just gonna mine something while I'm waiting here. Because I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get back. Whoops! My hopes were dashed. That's okay.
You're only short like 200 Lauronite. Like that's not.
No, it's fine. It's super duper fine. So now I'm gonna buy some stuff. Right? No, we're gonna buy snow shell. You're gonna upgrade. Yeah. We're gonna get arrow, snow shell, skip a cutscene, and so yeah, what is the final mech colors that we're gonna be running with today?
Our final mech colors are indeed trans rights.
Trans
rights are human rights, everyone.
They are. Okay, cool.
Trans rights always wins. Trans rights always wins.
It always wins.
It's true.
As it should be. So I'm trying to remember the controls for doing this because I actually haven't done this in a hot minute. So let's see here. Let's just take a minute and make it pretty. That's a little bit. Let's do a little bit more like. Let's see here. Beautiful. And get our pink. How's that look? Does that look trans rights to everybody?
That looks. I feel like you need to be a bit more pink.
A bit more pink.
But that could be just me.
We can tone this pink. Oh, pinker. All right, let's go.
That's pretty pink.
Let's go.
It's pretty pink.
Okay, I think I built
everything.
I
was doing number 3 more as purple, but that could just be my eyes.
Well, this is what we're going with. I literally just pressed my split button.
It's gorgeous. It really
Beautiful. Is. Great choice, donors. Thank you so much for donating to this wonderful cause.
Speaking of donors, do we have time for a quick donation?
This is a perfect time.
Oh, wonderful. We have $25 from E. Killham, who says, donating to a great cause, and also because I missed Metroid Crimes Run earlier, and I feel like I didn't make it to a family member's piano recital. Good luck to all the arcaders.
Awesome. Any other donations or messages?
That's all we have for now, but if anybody wants to, we might have finished our bid war for the color scheme, but we do have another one for Space Channel 5 where you can pick what language we're playing in.
Awesome. So, yeah, get those donations in, everybody. That sounds awesome.
English or Japanese, it's up to y'all.
Sweet. Alright, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Right now what Roadkill is doing is we're going through this like intermission kind of area where we find this guy stuck in the snow after we get like the upgrades. And here, this guy is leading us through like where we need to go, but like we already know where to go. And they're having a conversation about how he's trying to like go out and find himself, which confuses Annika like immensely because for some reason she's never heard of the concept of trying to find herself, and that just baffles me incredibly. But
yeah, it's a nice little zen part of the run, but we also learned some new abilities, which are, you might have noticed us doing some different movement tech here. We now have an ability called Arrow, which essentially just allows us to hold a button to go faster, so that's nice. But we can also use it in combination with Dash to get a really interesting sort of like dip movement that sends us on like a forward burst at the exchange of a little bit of height. So that's really useful for essentially long distances. Did I accidentally just sleep again? I literally just did.
I do that all the time.
Well, we're just gonna have a little nip nap here. It's fine. Can we skip?
Whenever.
It's not skipping. Yeah, Can I quit? Yeah, I'm gonna quit.
Is it not skipping?
Yeah.
I've never had that happen before.
I have had that happen before. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I thought it was gonna be a never. That's never.
Okay, there we go. Well, regardless, we didn't lose too much time because I was able to quit out. So now we're going to continue our search for the thief of our father's mech, and we're heading into a new area, which is probably my favorite area of the game. which is the Maple Canopy. And so here, just like before, we're going to be looking for alpha aphid tracks, because here later we are going to be needing to do another alpha aphid. So I got lucky and got one right here at the start. Went a little out of my way for it, but totally worth. And I'm going to be going for some minerals on the way, just to make our lives easier on the alpha aphid, because we're actually a bit behind, even though I did just get an alloy droplet randomly. So that's a bit poggers. So that's one less alloy droplet I'm gonna need to get later, and I got stuck there. So I think an alloy droplet is, I think it's like 250 Limidot it's worth or so. So that essentially puts us ahead on Limidot, where otherwise we were very behind. So I'm not gonna spend too much more time here. This area is really variable. It's really just essentially getting ahead of, oh, of course when I don't need Limidot, this happens. Like, are you serious?
I would get it anyway.
I am. I'm gonna try to get it anyway. This almost never happens. Like, this is a ridiculous amount of Limidot to get on this rock. So I'm gonna take advantage and suffer through these enemies for just a moment.
I wish you could get bubble ability early.
Yeah, later on we'll see this ability called Bubble, which makes situations like this way less scary. But yeah, I got way over what I normally aim for here, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on. As painful as it is to leave all that Limidot behind,
Pretty sure both of our goals for the thief is like less than a minute, because that you can theoretically get like no stuff there, and then just burst through the entire thing.
Yeah, if you're really ahead on stuff, yeah, or really confident that you're gonna get enough Limidot on the alpha aphid, but I tend to take pit stops. But yeah, the gold there is very deceptive for sure. Okay, so Bull's Hollow. I'm going to be dodging over lots of encounters here, because these combat encounters, if you accidentally trigger them, are extremely long. And so I'm going to be taking some weird pathing and jumping over geometry that is questionable whether I'm supposed to be able to. I'm flying over an encounter right now, which is very easy to accidentally trigger if you don't have enough
you go to that leaf?
Yeah, I do this way different than you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, but that's faster. Okay, now you need to do that. That's a little faster.
Now you know why I go that way. Yeah, so we'll go over this. I just went around the last one there. I jumped on this, actually what is a little collectible thingy. Instead of getting the collectible, I used it to gain height and platform around another collider that's invisible.
And now we're at a forced encounter with the bull beetles.
Yeah, so tell everybody a little bit about our best friends, the bull beetles.
Yeah, so the bull beetles are either your easiest enemy or your worst enemy. They do a lot of damage when they attack you, and as long as you're like above them when they do, they shouldn't be a problem. But as you can see, she just killed one of them, but now she has to kill 3 more. And so again, like these, as long as you're like above them when they attack you, they shouldn't be no problem. And also there's a boomling here that will also give them some damage. And if the game likes you, you can just throw them all off the edge at once.
That one got stuck. I'm so glad I noticed it before. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And I'm super ahead on Dalium.
You're super ahead on Dalium.
I am.
So you go ahead.
I was just saying that I'm mega good on Dalium.
Yeah. So like you can theoretically go around that encounter. Like you can avoid the entire hitbox and make it to that final leaf. But like the trigger to like finish the level will not be there until you finish the encounter. And so there's no way. Like you have to do that encounter.
That was close. I almost wasn't able to afford afford those. Definitely gonna get whole durability because I'm ahead on Dalium.
Place your bets in chat right now if you think Roadkill is gonna get the 50-second very inconsistent skip.
I've gotten it 4 times in a row, so that definitely means I'm never gonna miss it again, right? That's how that works.
Right. Did you find a way to make that consistent, or is that just luck?
I don't know. I can't say. It's just vibes. Okay. Oh no, the winds were being very mean to me there.
The second alpha now.
Yeah, so this one's very similar to the last one. I'm aiming for 2400 Dynatite, almost 900 or 9000 Limidot, and either 12, at least 1200 Barnacle is my goal here. So
you raised the amount of Limidot we need to get here, right?
Yes, that is the newest change to the route. So, but only by about 300. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to be focusing. Are there any other new donations or messages from the host? If not, we
I
can
don't
just
have-
bop to
sorry,
the music.
I don't have anything for you right now, but I am very much enjoying the music, and chat is giving you boatloads of energy. For
Yes,
this
thank
run.
you for the energy. Ugh, I appreciate it so much.
And I think somebody offered you cookies, so
Cookies? I like cookies. Excellent. Thank you, chat.
the cookies might result in the energy. I'm not quite sure, or there might be extra. And just cookies are good. Cookies are amazing.
I'm a bit worried about my fonicle. Okay, hold on.
I see people in chat saying that like you think that Roadkill will get the 50-second skip, but I want to reiterate that it does not matter. Like this is not a thing of skill. Like she either gets it or she doesn't. Like there's nothing that she can do. You're kind of like we've not found a consistent way to get this skip, and so like what happens is that we're gonna talk to Clara after the alpha.
I'm good.
Encounter, right?
I just barely
And-
made it. I just barely made it.
barely.
Okay.
We're gonna talk to Clara after this encounter, and we want her to say dialogue. Can you say anything, please? Please. Anything at all? So, yeah.
It's because I'm getting the pop-ups. Okay, this one counts.
This one counts?
Yep, you can do that pop-up
Yo-
as well.
What? What?
Wait.
Those count? Wait.
Oh no, I
what?
didn't. Did I stop too soon? Oops. But yeah, those count.
Oh, I thought it was only specifically like the dialogue that she says.
Yep.
that
I
Clara
think
says.
that's my new discovery is that any dialogue counts, even your own.
Any dialogue. Oh, you start this skip for this encounter way earlier than I do.
Oh yeah.
I go like.
And
I
well,
start
maybe your
with
way is
dialogue.
better because I messed it up.
So essentially, like any dialogue box that pops up before you talk to Clara, there's supposed to be a cutscene that happens there after you sell her the minerals. But if any dialogue pops up
There
before
we go, I
that
got it.
cutscene starts, the cutscene is going to get delayed until after that dialogue is finished. And so during the dialogue happening, Roadkill was going to sell Clara all of the minerals that she needed, and then she immediately went to the mech and went to the next area. So instead of the cutscene locking you in that section in which you couldn't progress until it was over, the cutscene now plays at the bottom left corner of the screen. And the fact that you can do it with like the dialogue, the internal monologue that Annika has, is not something that I knew. I thought it had to be a piece of dialogue that's coming from Clara.
Yep, I hadn't officially tested it out, but I got it accidentally doing that, and so I guess now we figured it out, squad. We did it. This game is a very new speedrun, so we're literally discovering stuff like almost every time we run it still, so that's really fun. Okay, so Clara's essentially here because she crashed her mech, and so we're building her some new stuff to fix her mech, so... And now this cutscene, as far as we know, is unskippable, so we're gonna have to sit here for probably another, 50 seconds or so.
I did do that thing. Like, remember when we were waiting in the other marathon, and I like exited to main menu, and then I came back, and then because I don't know if I exited after or before the cutscene ended, but I don't want to test it out in the middle of a run.
Yeah,
So-
no, same. Okay, yeah,
I
now
should-
I'm getting my
why-
multiple pop-ups, and something weird is going on, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, it like wasn't wanting to start the cutscene and it decided to do some pop-ups instead. That's fine. Sometimes the UI in this game gets a little bit jank. It's, you know, as we're playing it more, we're starting to figure out its nuances, ways to avoid stuff, but...
Yeah. I mean, the main thing about like the prompts showing up multiple times is if you exit the game and then restart it for like a reroll on RNG or something, sometimes a pop-up will repeat itself. And if you exit the game multiple times, it'll repeat itself multiple times. But that's just a thing. And also, if a pop-up happens, like if you get an ability and then you start over a file, like the pop-up will happen at the beginning of the game, which is like
It's
annoying.
very strange, yeah. I always reset when that happens because it just annoys me and I don't want it to mess something up down the road.
Right.
Okay, we're gonna get one more ability here. Oops, if I'm actually in range, we're gonna get one more ability here called Blink, which is gonna come up extremely in handy here in just a moment when we have our first boss encounter in the game.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we're about to rejoin our friends at the Acorn Squad, and essentially we're just going through on a nice little journey on the way to meet up with them. What could possibly go wrong?
This is about the halfway point of the run.
Yes, it'd be a shame if some violence occurred along the way.
Someone has woken up and chosen violence today, and his name is the Wind Mantis.
Yes, the wind. The dreaded wind mantis. I'm actually going to do this the sort of slower way, just because I haven't got used to the new discovery that has been recently made to make this potentially much faster. But it's also more inconsistent. Yeah, I was not able to get it to work in practice, so I'm like, you know what, I'll just stick with what I know. We're gonna just...
I feel like we need to find a setup for him.
Yes.
That way that'll be good.
We'll talk about that skip more later. But yeah, so Wind Mantis is actually a pretty fun boss. Essentially, some of his attacks will drop rocks from the sky, and we're just gonna be pushing those rocks into him and hitting him in the face. Good RNG can make this really fast, because sometimes whenever the rocks drop, they will just drop onto the mantis's head and do damage, but we did not get great luck this time. But
do you know what your goal is for the split?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. I know that my goal is like 1 minute and 14 seconds, but it always takes me like 2 minutes to do this fight.
Yeah, it's pretty inconsistent for sure. And now we drop. Whee!
Wait, what button do you use to drop with?
B.
Oh, you use B? I use right trigger.
Oh, interesting.
But I think they have the same fall speed.
I think so. There are a couple different ways that you can have different drop speeds in this game. Namely, whenever you drop with, on my controller, it's A, on the Xbox controller, you fall very fast, but only if you actually have something to land on. So that's a thing. So I'm actually normally there I would buy a photosynthesizer and 4 alloy droplets, but I remembered that I randomly got one in a drop earlier, and so I only had to buy 3. That's just an example of sort of being able to improvise in this game. So in general, on average, you can estimate how many minerals you're going to have access to pretty well, but occasionally you'll get lucky drops, which will allow you to save time, skipping having to get some minerals. So actually, now that I think about it, my goal of Limedot on the last alpha, I actually did not have to have that much, but that's totally fine. It does not hurt to be ahead. So I just bought some new stuff.
Are you going to check for Limedot right now?
No, I'm super ahead.
Oh, no.
I am gonna get some Lauronite though.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good on Lauronite. I think I'm good on everything actually.
Yeah. Did we talk about the bubble ability that you just used?
No. Oh. Well, I just got jaboosted, so I'm gonna have to reset this platforming.
Right. The bubble ability is kind of like that force field thing that you saw. What are you? What is this movement you're doing? I've never seen this.
What are you talking about?
This, like, well, you're going to the right side instead of the left. I always go to the left on here.
And I'm messing up the platforming really bad, so it's fine.
No worries.
Don't look. So, that thing you just saw happen there was, I've been calling them leaf boosts because you boost from hitting these wind leaves. And, sometimes, if you hit them just right, they will shoot you off on the side. And on some places it's useful, but most of the time it just means that you don't get the height that you need. Okay, there. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff to explain here, actually. So what I just used is a new ability called Lift, and it essentially just does what it sounds like. It essentially just lifts you into the air using a big air gust, which is great because having more height allows us to use more of these air boosts to go faster. However, after I used Lift, instead of just taking the height from the lift, I landed on the ground and then jumped up, and that essentially allows me to just fully maximize the height from that. You get more height that way. And there's another way to get more height from using a skill we have not unlocked yet. So yeah, there's a lot of different interlocking movement tech in this game.
I do the level slightly differently. For example, she went to the right at the beginning of, I go to the left, but we both ended up at the same place. And I also actually that ability, the lift ability where you like go down and back up, I don't do that. I just take the base height that the lift gives me and I deal with it. But I feel like since you have more height, you can use the air ability more. So that's probably theoretically faster. And again, this is why you're better at this game than me. So.
You say that, but yeah. Honestly, this game, like, there's just still so much, like, difference in the way, just preference, like the abilities you like to use or not like to use, or paths you like to take. There's lots of different ways to go through levels that are pretty comparable as far as I can tell in speed, especially because of the difference in minerals you get in different order, and so there's just lots of different ways to be expressive with this game.
Yeah, definitely.
Hold on. No. Okay, we're good. I used to buy an ability there, but I don't anymore, so... Okay.
Oh yeah, repair speed level 1, you don't do that anymore?
Not there, no. But yeah, okay, so we're now in Sarto Tree. This level used to be the hardest level in the run, in the first couple of times it was routed, because there's some really difficult fights here, especially if you don't have like a whole bunch of like safety or damage upgrades, which we don't. But we discovered that you could very easily go out of bounds. I'm actually completely out of bounds right now, and I'm about to dive back in bounds right here.
Looks like she's been out of bounds, but she is.
Yes. And we're going to be doing some other really weird pathing to get around some of these fights. I'm going to be going over here. The camera's going to take a while to catch up with me, but I got there, so we're good. And this is the one that is probably the hardest fight in the game, so hopefully I don't... Oh no, did I get the bug? Okay, no I didn't. We're good.
I triggered this the other day, and it was like absolutely annoying. You have to do a huge circle around it. Like you have to go so much farther left than you think that you do.
Yeah. So, but I got it. So we're good. We're good. I always take it super safe because I'm so scared of triggering that fight. Whoa. And now we climb a tree, which is so more difficult than it looks because
it is.
You get stuck on all this stuff. Did you know you could do that, Oz?
I did know you could do that, but I don't do it. You showed me that, but I just haven't taken the time to actually do it.
Yes.
I always forget by the time I get to this part of the run. This is so late into the run that any like new tech that was recently found, I'm just like, I just need to finish the run.
Yeah,
right
just wrap it up. So yeah, we're climbing Starter Tree. This is a very peaceful part of the run, but it stresses me out because platforming on these tree limbs, like I'm constantly like missing them. And this leaf is a mean head, but we've made peace with each other. And this is also another fight that we used to take that we now skip. Oops, that we now skip. Again, another shout out to the developers for showing us that it's extremely easy to get around.
One day I went into the developers Discord and I was just like, hey, can you help us figure this out? And then they gave us like every secret ever to just skip everything in this game. They showed us like 3 different encounters that we did in the speedrun that we could just skip.
Yeah, and they were like, did you know there's a Death Stranding Easter egg? Is that helpful? And we're like, no, but cool. Like, thanks. But yeah, so I briefly jumped down into this fight just because while that cutscene is happening just like before, I'm just getting some minerals. And so now I'm going to buy a hardened crystal and then get spark design and head into the last region of the game. Everything that just happened right there was like a whole complete B plot, by the way. Essentially, they sent us on this wild goose chase to talk to a bunch of different people to get what we thought was a tool to make an upgrade, but it turns out that they were making us matching jackets. So, which is super cute. So now David, my man David, we got matching jackets now. So. But
his friends call him Tulip for some reason.
Yeah. I love the characters in this game.
Yeah, right? Right now, Roadkill just got a new ability called Spark, and she uses it and I don't, which is another reason why she's better at this game than me. Because Spark gives you actually more height during lift.
I just used it.
Exactly, and it also allows you, like, whenever you get, like, covered in, like, goop from enemies, like, you can just immediately, like, get rid of it. And so you're going to be seeing her use that whenever in combination with Spark just to get more height in a lot of places. I never use it. I personally have never felt the need to use it, but it does give you more height and just an easier time.
And it looks cool.
And it does look cool.
The cool factor.
Hopefully you get some more alpha tracks here before you have to go.
Yeah, I only got one. Okay, there's another one. This one's really hard to see. And we got it. Okay, good.
Yeah, the lighting in this area makes it hard to see the alpha tracks, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I'm waiting on that
thing to
go. Oh, I was just waiting on the pop-up to come up so I could jump straight to Mire Outskirts. Okay, Mire Outskirts is actually a really straightforward level. There's a lot of encounters to dodge, just like in any of the other areas, so I'm going to be taking some big height here, just to fly directly across where I need to go. and avoid the danger zones. Really, at this point in the run, we don't really need to worry about minerals anymore, so most of the time when I'm getting minerals, it's just because I'm, like, waiting on a cutscene or something like that, and I just can.
True.
So, yeah, we're gonna go through here. We're gonna do this climb over this log, which is gonna allow us to skip another encounter. And hopefully... There we go. I always like to make sure I get max height there, because I have accidentally triggered that encounter before by just not getting enough height.
And it's really long.
It's like what, like 7 minutes or something? I don't know. If it's more than like a minute, it might as well be like 7 minutes.
Yeah. It's faster for you to reload the level and do the whole thing again than it is to finish that encounter.
Sorry, I was hesitating there. I had the alpha unlocked, and so I couldn't remember if I did it an hour later, but I'm going to wait.
Which, I feel like the true test of skill in this game is once we make the all encounters category to see who's better at combat.
Yeah, right now at any percent, it used to involve a lot more combat than it does now. But we've figured out ways to skip most of them. So we don't get to see much of the combat, which is honestly really fun, in my opinion.
It is pretty fun.
So what I'm doing now is I just essentially got to this hermit who is giving us more information about where we need to go. This cutscene is extremely long, but it lets us move around. However, you can get out of it by dying. So I'm essentially going to be both looking for PippyInATopHat, which is the mineral that we need directly after this.
You go south?
Yes, I go south.
I go north.
Yeah, I used to go north. But anyway, but you were looking for PippyInATopHat, and we're looking for a way to die, basically. So I'm going to be breaking all these rocks in hopes that dangerous enemies will spawn, which it looks like the best we got is this boomling, which is not great. So we might have to watch most of this cutscene.
Oh, there's some PippyInATopHat.
Yeah,
I usually go north. I feel like I get more luck with PippyInATopHat when I go north.
Yeah, I'm more interested in dying than PippyInATopHat, so... so we're just gonna see if we can get this guy to kill us. It's gonna take a little while. So if there's any other messages, now would be a great time.
If someone could clip her saying, I am more interested in dying than PippyInATopHat,
I would like to draw attention one more time to, we do have an upcoming incentive for what language we want to see Space Channel 5 in. Between English and Japanese, the choice is yours, and that incentive will close partway through our next run, which will be an Undertale challenge run. So we do want to see what the room's feeling. You feeling English or you feeling Japanese? What'd you wake up feeling today?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that shout out, and definitely get those donations in for this wonderful cause and this very first inaugural Super Showcase. Okay, great. So I managed to die during that cutscene, so I was able...
How much time did that save?
How much what?
How much time did that save?
Not much. Probably. So now we're going to do this aphid. So this aphid is going to play out a little bit differently than the last couple. So right now we need PippyInATopHat, and we need a lot of it. We need, in fact, 800 PippyInATopHat. So as you can...
Look how slowly they mine. Look how slowly they mine.
Yeah, it takes forever to get. Sometimes it won't spawn like any on the back of the aphid. And the enemies here are extremely aggro, so it can get really scary. But the good news is, one nice thing about this game that Oz discovered is that on aphids and in general, if you die, or if you quit and reload, you actually keep what minerals you mine. So to prevent us from having to get more aphid tracks to like get another aphid, we can actually get as much PippyInATopHat as we can and then re-roll it by quitting and reloading, which is really helpful because it makes it way easier to plan around and saves a bunch of time.
Also, shout out to the developers, because when we were entered their Discord, they knew about this bug and they never bothered to fix it.
Yes, they were waiting for the speedrunners.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're Absolutely. At 300 right now, which is actually not great. I'm actually doing sort of poorly, so I might have to re-roll it twice.
I have to get around 400 before re-rolling.
Yeah. Oh, a bunch of enemies despawn though, so that's handy.
Because like if you're really careful about it, you can get like 400 in one roll. So at least 400 should be fine.
Yeah, I usually aim for 500 just for safety, but we shall see. It's sort of hard to do anything for safety on the back of this because of how dangerous it is all the time, but I'm gonna get this one and then go ahead and re-roll. Can we get some jam emotes in the chat for this awesome alpha aphid boss music, by the way, because it sort of rules.
It truly is a jam. I'm grooving over here.
Yeah, this game is full of bugs, in fact. Chat. That is, if there's one thing you can say about this game, it's that. It's full of beautiful, beautiful bugs. Okay, so we're gonna be, so I just did the quit out to try this again. And as you can see, all the minerals that were gone before are back, but my total number is the same. It's really handy in this game that as you pick up minerals, you get a little indicator on the left side of the screen that tells you how many you just picked up, which is the plus number, and then in parentheses it tells you your current total, so it's really easy to tell how you're doing. So I've got an eye on that. Oh, and I got a scoop!
It's funny how this oh, you got a scoop. Yeah, that's the bug that happens sometimes when, like, I think you need to get attacked and also blown away by the wind at the same time. I don't know how it works or what the scoop does, how it works at all.
Nope, but I appreciate it because I needed that. Essentially, what a scoop is when you're gathering, like you just saw, like Oz mentioned, and sometimes something to do with the wind blowing, it will just automatically like gather every mineral in that stack all at once. So especially during this segment of the game, it is so nice to get those, but they're so inconsistent, and so far we haven't been able to figure out how to consistently replicate them. So essentially, we just think the game when it happens and move on. So I'm probably gonna have plenty of Pietite here for once in my life. So now I'm going to take an intentional death because it's easy to intentionally die on this aphid because of how much danger is on the screen right now. Oh my gosh, everything is pushing me away from the danger. At this point, maybe I should have just waited, but oh well.
I think it's still faster.
Alright, cool. So yes, we took an intentional death there, and now we are just going to turn in all our resources and then head into the last couple sections of the game.
Although what I see that you like skip the cutscene and then wait for the sleeping animation to end. I don't do that. I exit to main menu and then restart the game because I'm pretty sure like the animation of her getting into bed and then leaving is faster than the animation of her waking up.
Interesting.
I haven't timed it, but I'm like, it just feels faster.
It has, you know, that's valid, honestly. That's how I make most of my decisions with my speedrun routes, is what feels better. Does it feel cool and fast? Then I'm gonna do it. Okay, so we just turned in all of our Pietite that we worked so hard for, and now we're heading to the auction, which is the thing that we were just told about. This level is very dangerous because now we have a new danger, which is the rain. You can see probably on your screen that there's little red indicators of where the raindrops are going to fall, but they still fall quite quickly. Oh, I almost accidentally triggered that encounter.
I honestly forget that there's an encounter there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get as much height as I can and try not to hit the raindrops, because when
raindrops,
they're so dangerous, because when you hit them, you essentially drop like a rock and have to respawn. And respawning in this game is pretty generous because
oh God, you go so high up.
I know, that's what that boost does. But yeah, so the way respawning works in this game is essentially if you fall off the arena, you respawn at the last bit of ground that you touched. So long glides can be really dangerous because if you fall, you respawn at the last piece of ground that you touched, which might be really far away. So we're approaching the auction, and the guards at the entrance were like, "Whoa, Acorn Core, you guys aren't allowed," because I don't know why, but you're not allowed. So we do what any upstanding auction attendee would do, and we break in to steal it instead. So all of that Pietite we got, we actually don't end up using.
Like the game is just like, you need to be rich, and then you end up stealing things anyway.
Yeah.
So like, what was the point? What was the point of it all? So this section is kind of annoying, in my opinion. So you see that she's tethering onto Krissa. Oh, surprise! The mech is our father's mech. Who would have seen that coming? And so we need to tether onto Krissa. So we have a little string that we are tethering onto her with. And if you get hit at any point, Krissa will no longer be connected to you, especially if you get hit by a raindrop. But it really doesn't matter because as long as you hit like the end level trigger, whether or not you're tethered to Krissa will not matter. You'll just end the level anyway.
Clean. That part is so stressful.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So essentially what I did there was the raindrops there are the big danger because if you get hit by the raindrop, you drop Krissa, and then which is the name of that mech, and then you have 10 seconds to pick it back up, or you have to start it over again. But yeah, like Oz said, you can just get to the end, and it doesn't matter if you aren't attached, as long as you do it before that timer runs out.
All right. So now it's time for the final boss, and this could take 2 minutes or it could take 7. Depending on what the boss is feeling like today.
Yes. This boss, the first half of this boss fight is just a really tricky version of the last boss fight. It's just harder. And the second half we have a skip for, which I'll, shortly we'll talk about it, but hopefully I don't die during the first boss, but essentially my goal is to get here and then get it to 60% health. But essentially, story-wise, what's happening, spoilers, is that we're actually re-stealing the mech to take it back home. We're betraying our Acorn Core friends to take the mech home back to our dad. And then we immediately take it into Dragon Mantis territory, and then it destroys the mech. And then our friends come to save us and bring us our mech for the final boss.
Which really means that the real adventure were the friends that we made along the way.
Exactly.
Like, ironically.
Like, yes, I love it. I love it so much. My real friend is Tulip.
Yeah.
What did I just do?
Oh. So yeah. I have really bad luck with Dragon Mantis sometimes. Like the rock dropping RNG doesn't like me.
And Dragon Mantis hits really hard, so it's really important to try and obviously, like any point in the game, to take as little damage as possible because some of these attacks will damage your ship's systems and prevent me from doing things like flying or I should not have said anything. I can't fly. Okay.
How appropriate. Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no! No!
Are you gonna die? Oh no!
No! No! No! No death! No death!
Okay.
No death! Send me your good vibes in chat.
Come on.
We could
Come
do.
on.
We could.
You can't.
Okay, my repair came back up. I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Oh, that was
God.
scary. And I'm not hitting him with any of these rocks. See, just like as you can probably tell, this boss moves around a lot more than the Wind Mantis and spends so much more time flying, so it's way harder to hit with rocks. And the other bugs on the arena can actually body block your attacks, like literally just happened. I feel like every time I talk about the bad things that can happen in this fight, it like happens immediately afterwards. Oh my gosh. The good news is I only have to get him to 60% health or so. Maybe less. I think like 40.
I just say 3/4.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact numbers are. Because the rocks actually do different amounts of damage also depending on like how hard they hit.
The best thing that happens if you can throw like 3 rocks at him at the same time.
Yeah. Die. Okay, we're getting really close.
This is what I mean by this boss can take
time
a while.
Time might be coming up soon, so do you want to explain the skip?
So essentially, the second phase skip that she's going to get into right now is that we want the Dragon Man to be flying around here, and we want the Dragon Man to actually enter his walking phase as he's like in this, as he's like in the edge of the arena, so that he actually falls down and hits the kill plane at the bottom of the screen.
Did I get it? No, he flew back up.
No, he didn't. And so sometimes he likes to do it. Oh, now? Question mark? Yeah. So like he needs to like be in this walking animation on that edge so he can fall down and hit the kill plane.
Come on, he keeps like almost doing it.
Like yeah, I had this happen to me yesterday, and it was like disgustingly slow.
I might just reset it.
Yeah, sometimes you want to reset the file. Sometimes you want to restart the file.
Yeah, I'll restart the fight.
So that he behaves.
Come on, boss. It's a very finicky trick. It's very imprecise. Oh, I think I might have got it. Okay, time is coming up in 3, 2, 1, and time. Okay, whew. That final boss fight is always so stressful because it's such a finicky trick that has to be executed really quickly.
That was a 57 flat.
Nice. Okay, that's not
Indeed,
terrible.
0 seconds. Wow.
Nice. Okay, excellent. That's what the boss was waiting for it to be flat for the style points. Thank you so much, chat, for the GGs and the energy. I'm sure that's why I was able to pull off the skip. And yeah, that was Stonefly. I hope you enjoyed the run. There's a lot to explain really fast, so hopefully we did a pretty good job. It's a really fun run. There's a lot to think about, and it's pretty interesting platforming, interesting pathing, interesting resource management. And it's a beautiful game with an awesome soundtrack. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Oz, do you have any shout-outs you want to make? Any special thanks?
I just want to thank you for having me on commentary, because I absolutely love this game. And like, I was actually, so this quick backstory, I was hosting Roadkill's run at another event for No Holidays Allowed 2021, and I just fell in love with this game immediately. Like, it was so cool, and she brought something really cool to the table, and I was really excited to get into it myself, because I was looking for some new stuff. And overall, this game is like a really good casual experience. This is a really good like speedrunning experience. And please, we are the only 2 human beings in the world that speedrun this game. We want more people.
Yeah, and if you're interested in learning more about this game, I've written up a pretty extensive guide and spreadsheets and stuff that make keeping track of the resources easier, and yeah, and it's just fun. So yeah, I'd like to shout out you for helping me out on comms, and for everybody running this event for helping it be smooth and awesome, and yeah, and I hope everybody enjoyed.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for being with us here today. RoadkillRevenge, before you head off, if people want to find you for more amazing content, where can they find you?
Excellent question. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RoadkillRevenge. I try to stream once per week, but you know, I do my best. I stream Roadfly, Stonefly. I also do a whole lot of Spyro Reignited speedrunning, which you should be able to. If you tune in tomorrow, you'll be able to see me doing some fun stuff in that game as well.
Learning the bone dance.
Yes.
Should be an exciting adventure.
Yes, it shall.
Thank you both again for being here with us today. We will now be getting ready for our next showcase, which will be an Undertale showcase of some kind of boss that I definitely don't know what it is. No spoilers, right? No spoilers at all. But that surely will be an amazing time. That also will be the end of my time as your host for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. But I will also be back throughout the weekend, so be sure to stick around if you like my voice. Or if you don't like my voice, you should also stick around because it's for a very good cause.